free for a moment, a split second, and that's poor defending from
the best option to cover up for Kotoko Football Club. He didn't cover for the club, and I think on that score, I would slightly blame Rich Malamti for not able to defend on that angle. But I thought the central defender should have been there to clear the ball on that side. When you score from set pieces like this against a big club like this, question need to be raised about the central defensive area of Asante Kotoko Football Club. We were talking about the goalkeeping department. 2 away games for Asante Kotoko. 2 goalkeepers for the opponent won the man of the match. It means when some of these teams are meeting the bigger clubs, the goalkeepers are able to live up to expectation. Isaac Wasai was a key player and the man of the match when Kotoko traveled to Pando to play Pando Hearts of Lions. Now, another goalkeeper for Karela was able to win the man of the match. Gradually, it looks like the goalkeeping department in our league is gradually improving. We were talking about Frederick Asare, Benjamin Asare, and Kofi Mensah of Samatex in the first round. Now, it looks like 2 other goalkeepers are living up to expectations. So it looks like we don't have goalkeeping problem in this country. It looks like our handlers are making things difficult for us, and so far so good for our goalkeepers in the Ghana Premier League.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's have a few words, hear from them with regards to the post-match. And Abu Karidamba was very magnanimous after the victory.
What kind of tonic does this give to Karela for subsequent matches, especially in the second half?
It only tells us that we need to work harder. The higher you go, the more difficult it becomes. This victory is for today. It is gone. It will not come any other day. So we need to keep working towards, more victories. And I think we'll put this behind us, but then it's a motivating factor. You can't take that away.
Yeah, maybe we should add Dr. Abubakar Damba. He's not just a former Black Stars goaltender. He's also a CAF instructor, amongst others, PFAG, highly respected member as well, among other things. And very cool and calm about their chances. Karela picking up a very important win. But for Asante Kotoko, they'll be wondering why these relegation-threatened sides just keep on nibbling at their title chances. Another 3 points gone, and they have a few more battles with teams at the lower end of the table. That doesn't bode well for the Porcupine Warriors. Hopefully, Prosper Ogunoklu and the rest of the team will find a way around it. Before we leave Kotoko and Karela, there's this issue also that the setup currently at Kotoko may also need to be looked at in order to put more, what's the word to use, urgency, vim, and balance, checks and balances in how things are executed by the Porcupine Warriors. Josiah?
Yeah, I believe so. There's a team that struggled when the season started, Yao, and I believe they went through phases of transition, both from the technical team and also the playing body, and you could see how they set up. Usually they started this season playing with natural fullbacks. You look at the left back and the right back where you have Tedeku and even sometimes Ejapon playing at right back. Then it got to a point they started, playing with a 3-back system where you have these centre backs playing as hybrids, usually as a centre back and also as a right back. So usually then you have Nuruddin playing as a left centre back and also Justice Blay playing as a right centre back. And yeah, they amassed most of their points this season, playing with that system. It actually worked to perfection, because you look at like someone like the head coach Prosper Ogum, who loves, domination. He loves to control his games. He loves his team, to always have control of the game in which they are playing. And when it started, you could see the likes of Mo Sharif, Richmond Lamte, it looked like all the players were relishing playing in that system because it gave them advantage whenever they had the ball. And without the ball, they had extra men in midfield. But then at this point, I believe it's about time they tweak, this system. I've been in commentary position a couple of times. I've had a chance to talk to David Oklu about the system they are playing, where you have Justice Blay, who is naturally a defensive midfielder and sometimes could play as a centre back, playing as a right back in the system, and also Nuruddin playing as a left back and also a centre back in the system. And he said, see, the system is working to perfection. The players are enjoying it. So why should we change the system? But then at this point, to lose back-to-back away games against relegation threatened sides, Heart of Lions and Karela, it means maybe it's time that Prosper Nateogum and his assistant and the technical team, put their heads together to try and change things, because it's not working as things stand.
And some are also saying that when the relegation team about there, it's for them it's a cup final, a do or die. But then that's where you also have to show that You also won the title. If you want to avoid relegation, we also won the title. So we need to show a bit more strength, experience, and confidence to overcome that. Are we being a bit too harsh on Kotoko?
No, I think, inconsistency in terms of, his selection has been one of the major problems for Prosper Ogun. You can see about 3 or 4 changes from the first 11 compared to the one that played their last home game in the Ghana Premier League, and the one they went to Kpandu to play Heart of Lions. Yesterday, Nicholas Osebonsu were back into the first 11. Nicholas Mensah was in the first 11, and of course, we saw players like Eric Zeze replacing Babayaya in the team. Nuruddin went to the bench for other players to replace him in the Kotoko team. So you can see inconsistency in player selection has been a major problem for Prosper Ogun. But the system, I think, it was working for him before the end of the first round. But right from the start of the second round, it looks like the players are struggling in terms of their system that Kotoko is operating from. So I think they need to work on that. There are key players who are injured. I think affected Kotoko progression. Players like Sharif Mohammed, their defensive midfielder, Onyamoto accident in Tamale. His absence has really affected the Kotoko Football Club. Isaac Opon, inconsistency in the Kotoko team is really up. If they really want to win the Ghana Premier League, away games like this, they need to get the maximum 3 points.
Yeah, Josiah, before we move on to today's game, this conversation about players being called, Ghana Premier League players being called to the national team, the Black Stars, when they come back, is there some sort of, I don't know, Prosper Ogun is was a psychologist. Yeah. Is there something that the players need when they come back from national assignment to get them back into their groove? We saw it with Barnier, we saw it with Abalora, Richard Atta, the list goes on. Former Hearts captain, what's his name? He played for Karela yesterday. Fatal
Mohammed.
They always struggle before they get back to form.
Jonathan Soa.
Yeah, Jonathan Soa. The Quay, is it Abe Quay brother, the senior one?
Yeah,
they've not been the same. What is it? Is it psychological? Is there something we need to do to help these players? In Tomobaba, they ease back, they switch out of national team mode and back to their club mode.
I think it has to do with the exposure. What they are exposed to whenever they get a call up to the national team. And these are players that, you know how important they are to their setups. You know how dear they are to their respective coaches. And whenever they move, it's all about the influences and what they pick up. Because it's always a privilege to earn a cap for your country. It's always a privilege, to earn a call up to play for your country, to represent your country. But then if you find a local player who's never played outside the shores of this country, earning a call up to the national team, where you have players playing for some of the biggest clubs in the world, it changes, everything, their mindset, what they want to achieve. They become overly ambitious and all that. And just like you're saying, there's a time that these coaches have to, spend a lot of time trying to talk to these players, try to manage their ambitions, try to manage their expectations. I once spoke to a head coach who said, after his player earned a call up to the national team, he came back and he was trying to force a move out of the club. So you can just imagine a player just spending a month or 2 weeks with the national team. He just comes back and he's pushing for a move away from the club because he feels
there's nothing wrong with that. Psychologically, you feel that, hold on.
He feels like he's no more with the club. Psychologically, if you are pushing to leave,
it's some reorientation.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying
talk to them.
It's all about spending time with these players, trying to make them understand.
Mukwala has been invited by Uganda. He'll be in action against Comoros and possibly the Black Stars, which is okay. He's also been off for a few matches. I mean, he's a top scorer, no doubt about it. But with Mukwala, you notice that fine player, but he needs about 4 chances to convert to 1.
Yeah, and
am I being accurate?
I think he's switched off a bit too. He doesn't look like the Mukwala we saw in the first round. He doesn't look like the Mukwala we saw from match week 7 to match week 17 before the round ended. He was sharp. He built this
clearly the break no help Kotoko.
Yeah, the break helped a couple of clubs, but not every club.
To breathe and to read.
House of Oak look rejuvenated. They look like a new team.
They use the break.
Great Olympics are looking like a team that are serious contenders. If they are starting the league like they are playing the second round, so it looks like most teams made the most out of the break. Others, it looks like the momentum just fell off. But talking about these individuals, I think it's up to the coaches because you wouldn't want to be a stumbling block. when there's a move for your player. But then you need to, counsel them, give them the right, counseling as to where they want to.
An opportunity missed by Kotoko. They could have at least been on equal pegging with Samatex. As it stands, from position number, even Accra has a vogue. If they win, could be jumping up there. Nations, they could all overtake them. A real big, I don't know if maybe the pressure gets to the players perhaps on occasion, and we need to give them time. But again, others will say that if you're playing for Kotoko, if you're playing for Hearts, one thing you don't have is more time.
Yeah, nothing changes when you're playing for these teams. They keep asking for more. So you need to keep giving more. You need to, try to give everything. You need to punch above your weight. Yeah, you always need to play above the level you played the previous game. And that's what these teams require. And, and that's the reason why if your level drops, whenever you play for either Hearts or for Kotoko, yeah, you move to the bench because there's someone on the bench who is trying to take your place. And that's how ambitious these teams are. It's all about the pressure. Yeah, we understand. Because for Kotoko to play in the league and not win the league for 2 seasons. Yeah, to the fan base, it looks like they failed over the last 2 seasons. You don't have any excuse for not delivering the league title to the fans every season. Same applies to Hearts. And now you can see the other teams who are trying to, invest resources into their clubs. They are also, trying to enjoy success. They also have to have a feel of what it feels like to enjoy success in the Ghana Premier League. You look at Samatex and what they're doing. Yeah, you look at how they are running this club, their away games, their home games, how ambitious they are, how they want to win each game after game after game. Yeah, it's all about the investment and what you want. And I believe once you set the goal, we saw Medeama do it last season. It was out of nowhere. They started believing that they could win it. And now you look at most of these Medeama players and they look like national team quality. And that's what you earn for yourself. Once you are able to believe that you can win it, you start believing that you can win it, and you start achieving it. So for these teams, Hearts and Kotoko, Samatex, Indiana Stars, you have Nations FC over there. Yeah, the pressure keeps creeping into each and every team. But it's about how you manage the pressure and how you go out there and win games. Yeah.
And Kotoko will move back to faith position after today's game because Samatex is traveling to Bechem to play Bechem United, and Swatrama is playing at home today against Dreams FC, and of course Nations FC is playing at home against Medeama Football Club. A win for these 3 clubs means Asante Kotoko will move to the 5th position on the league log, just 2 points between them and of course Samatex Football Club. 2 points between Asante Kotoko and the 3 teams behind them, and 3 points against Karela United. It's a big blow to Asante Kotoko club yesterday.
No doubt about it. Well, hopefully, in Prosper Ogun we trust is the mantra, and they would bounce back. Midweek they take on Accra Lions, if my fixtures tell me right. That's a tough game.
Wednesday 6 p.m.
Yeah, Wednesday 6 o'clock from Babayara.
Yeah.
Accra Lions dismissed. From was saying Brickham Chelsea.
Yeah.
5-0. Who was in charge? I know Coach Buedu is back. Was he the man in charge? But 5, yeah, I'm not sure. It's a bit much.
I don't think
5.
anyone associated to Brickham Chelsea would love this. Especially when you believe there's a new adventure for them, there's a new page. I don't think it's just good. 5-0. I don't recall the last time any team lost by such a huge margin in the league. Not even this season has any team beaten any team by 5-0, and not even a single reply from the team. But then talking about Coach Buedu, I believe the standards are high. You look at what Christopher Enin did with this team. They at some point they were winning at certain daunting and very, very intimidating grounds. Medeama, they were winning over there. They came to Hearts of Oak, they drew 1-0. There's a team that traveled all the way to Kumasi. They gave Kotoko a run for their money. So it looks like the standards are very, very hard. Brickham Chelsea, and he will have a lot to do. But losing by 5-0 against this Accra Lions side, I believe it's going to be a long journey back to Brickham. And then in the next game, everyone will be hoping that they could at least redeem themselves.
If you look at positions number 10, position number 14, these are 2 teams that have excelled in matches. With Dreams, they've been very consistent in the Confederation Cup. Medeama had a couple of good games, had a good win against Belouizdad. We know their potential, okay? So if they come back and they focus on the league, don't forget they're the defending champions, so +6. You know, they could be on 31 points as well. So let's not write them off. Dreams definitely have looked one of the strong sides in Ghana at the moment, obviously in the Confederation Cup. But if they can bring that form to the league, they would also be pushing in that top 4 area very, very tight. And it's not easy for Heart of Lions. They need to win at home today as well, you know, because around them, the battles are just back and forth. Karela, look at them. That win takes them up to 13th on 23 points. But they still know there's a lot of work. Accra Lions would want to get something against Kotoko midweek, because where they are, if they lose guard or drop their guard, they could also be coming down. So Obia and Ubia, FA Cup mantra.
Tight. It's very, very tight, yeah. And that's how competitive the league is. That once you win a game, you could move 2-3 places up. Once you lose a game, you fall 2 places. And we've been talking about Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who could move from 2nd place all the way down to 5th place if the other teams should win after they lost yesterday. And that's how tight it is. And that's what we want to see. That's what we enjoy. If you're a fan or a lover of the Ghana Premier League, you love seeing things like this, because it's not certain how the table will shape like after each match week, and it means that it's going all the way down to the wire.
Yeah. 2 final things: the venue and then the goalkeeper, Ganui, man of the match. 2 consecutive matches that the Kotoko's opponent, the goalkeeper, has won the man of the match, which means Kotoko create the chances because the goalkeeper is busy. He's making saves. He's the man of the match. Conversion is a problem. What can they do to address that challenge?
Yeah, they lack sharpness. I believe it has to do with their sharpness, because prior to, you know, the league going on break, they were scoring goals. They were scoring 3-4 past their opponents. Then you come back, and in 3 games you've only managed 1 goal, and that was when you played at home. And it's not good for Kotoko. I believe the onus lies on Coach Prosper Nateogum and also his assistant David Oklu to try and work on this team. Once you have, you know, a defensive coach or coordinator or even a goalkeeper's trainer, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with trying to hire someone who can help your attackers bang in the goals. Because you look at the Kotoko setup, and they have some good attackers. Peter Amiduakwa is one of them. Stephen Mukwala is another player. Baba Yaya is also there. Isaac Opon, Neymar, you know, Mensah is also there. Yeah, they have a chunk of good attacking, you know, pool of talents to always select from. But then it's all about how they coordinate, how they link up in front. I was there when they played against Heart of Lions away from home, and in the first half they had about 5 shots on target and they failed to even bury one of them, and that was how come they lost by 1-0. And subsequently the Heart of Lions goalkeeper was voted man of the match in that one. And you look at a team like Kotoko, yeah, they are never short of you know, chances in any game. You can't limit them, so it's always up to your goalkeeper to step up whenever they face, you know, such a rich team in terms of, you know, creating chances and also attacking. So I believe Coach Prosper Nateogum wouldn't be happy with what he's seen, that he's played back-to-back away games, and the goalkeepers of the home teams end up being voted man of the match. Maybe it's about time they try to psych the boys up, you know, to make them believe that they are still within touching distance. If they can win a couple of home games and away games, yeah, they could be top of the league.
And I think the contract issue surrounding Steve Mukwala and of course Richmond Lamte is affecting their performance. Mukwala is their top scorer. You know, Kotoko is struggling to extend contracts of these 2 key players, and as it stands now, they are the most important players for Asante Kotoko Football Club. So when these players are finding it hard to extend their stay with the club, it affects performance. And I think that is one thing the current IMC and the management need to work on it. Extending Mukwala's contract and extending Richmond Lamte's contract is very important for the second round for Kotoko.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move on. Nations are the host team. One of the unsung, or, you know, I say we need to give Nations respect, because when they started, obviously, as a new team, they struggled. They had, you know, narrow defeats, you know, here and there, issues.
And they could do a Diana Star.
Perhaps.
The only team right from Division 1 coming to the Premier League.
If you believe it.
The league,
if they believe it, why
they
not?
have everything that can make them win the Ghana Premier League.
Yeah. Home
motivation,
base.
Good home base, you know, quality of players, and the last one, they have money to support this particular project.
And Osho home from the last 5, it's impressive. I think
I don't
it's the
think they've
best
lost
home
any
form.
game at home.
No.
Yeah.
6 wins, 3 draws.
Yeah, it's the most impressive of all the teams, and they know how to play good football. We've seen them on occasion. Initially, we thought maybe it's just a bit of a fluke, new team, they want to show, but they've been consistent and they've made some very interesting purchases as well. Omi pleasing to watch, and let's see if this afternoon they can raise that bar. They have to raise it to meet Medeama, who are also back in business.
Yeah, their own standards, yeah. And each time you set the bar, you try to, go over that bar. It's always a hurdle for you, but then you need to put in a good shift. And yeah, the coach at the helm, Kasim Mengolo Kante, yeah, I think he deserves some props for what he's doing with this team. They didn't really start well. At some point it looked like they were struggling, despite the fact that they were making their home a fortress. They were trying as much as they could, not to lose at home. But then their away performances wasn't that good. It was nothing to write home about. But then last weekend they traveled all the way to Samraboy and pipped the league leaders by a goal to 0. There's a team that prior to that game, had won 8 out of 8 home games and conceded just 3 goals at home. But then they went there, showed their prowess. The game was initially slated for a Sunday, but unfortunately it was rained off. And the following day, they put things together and they won. And you look at the psychological aspect of the game we play, and that's how you start to believe, especially when you go to grounds where no one has been able to do or achieve a feat like that. What you did over there is unprecedented. So once you are coming back from that travel, you always have one thing on your mind. If I've been able to win at Samatex, why can't I win at home? Yes, I know it's Medeama, but then we've seen Medeama in recent times, coupling those performances in the league and that in Africa, where they had to play with giants like Belouizdad, Al Ali, and also Yanga. But then domestically, they are struggling. So you look at what nations are doing now, the momentum they have. There's a team that had played 9 games at home, they've won 6, they've drawn just 3. And only 2 teams in the top flight have won more points at home than they have. So it's quite good for them. And you look at Medeama and it doesn't look good, because it looks like they have 2 things to think about at the same time. Thinking about Europe, Africa, and also thinking about the league.
You could forgive Medeama. You could actually say that even recovery time, if you leave Accra and you go to North Africa, or you're going to Tanzania, or wherever it is, that space of the return journey and back, you're talking about a week to recover in between the match, coming back and preparing for your next game. And this has been going on for a few months. So maybe with Medeama, you can pardon them.
When you speak to some officials of Medeama Football Club, they believe their league is about to start right after they were out of the Champions League. They believe the Champions League and the league in the first round made things difficult for them to compete in the Ghana Premier League. Right now they are out of the Champions League. Their major concentration is to retain their league title, and that is what they want to do this particular season and move back to the Champions League. They believe that is a standard they've set for themselves. They need to win the Ghana League again and move to the Champions League of African football. So that is what Medeama would like to do in the second round, and they've gotten one of the best squad in the Ghana Premier League. All these players who move to different teams in the Ghana Premier League and make a case for themselves. So it's a big time for Medeama to come back and bounce back in the Ghana Premier League. I have a belief in them. They can do well in the Ghana Premier League. But Nations FC in Dr. Kwame J Sports Complex is a difficult ground for them to go there and pick the maximum 3 points.
Yeah, so Medeama's season actually starts this afternoon. And of course, Patrick Akoto has the same vibe. He says this is where it begins. And for them, as the defending champions, we should expect something special from them. Dreams are still in Africa. So again, it will be a challenge for them. But we know their quality. It's about strength in depth. So they'll be trying to prove a point as well. Kickoff is at the top of the hour, and we'll be hearing from the 2 coaches at pitchside. I'm here with Josiah Okokwe and, of course, Nana Edu. It's a big game on Max TV as well as on Star Times, channel 247. Big action to look forward to. Abrankes is always a favorite spot for us because of the ambience the venue gives and the beautiful football normally associated because of the grass and the lush, playing surface. Let's go for a break now. Let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll be getting closer to kickoff and talking to the 2 coaches.
cuts across all religions, all political parties. Let's come together and build our football. This is the sport that has made me who I am today. It is the sport that feeds millions of people. It is the sport that unites this country. It is our responsibility to hold on to this sport and then ensure we leave a lasting legacy to generations unborn. Our football is coming back. We will be a stronger force. We will be the most loved sport, and together we will ignite passion and create wealth for each one of us.
Okay, so we're getting closer to kickoff at the top of the hour. It's Abrankese in the Ashanti region. It's not far from Lake Bosomtwi, and I'm sure once that road is done, it will be 15 minutes from Kumasi itself, the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. So that shows you the proximity, and it would give a lot of fans an easy route to that venue. They are in for a good football this afternoon. Let's just go through, in case you missed what happened on Saturday, Thursday of match week 20. Karela defeated Kotoko by a single goal, scored in the second half. Really good game that was. Kotoko again being beaten by a relegation threatened side. But Kotoko say they'll bounce back. They have Wednesday to do that against Accra Lions at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. It won't be easy. Lions firing 5 goals against Brecum Chelsea. What a shock. The return for coach Samuel Boedu was a real baptism of fire. 5 unanswered goals is something must have been something to behold. And then today we have a glut of matches. Dreams FC, they travel to Nswatraman. Big game and a hard, tough game for them. Nations welcome Medeama. It's our featured match. RTU will be guests of Heart of Lions in Bando. Great Olympics also will be traveling to BBNE, and Bichem United welcome Samatex, as do Adriana, who entertain Legon City's Hearts. Looking to go closer to the apex, at least on the top 4, getting around there. If they beat Bofakwa, they'll do that. That'll be 9 points. But consecutively, that will be 4 matches, because they did win their last game before the break. So 4 straight wins on the bounce for the Phobians. They look like a different team altogether. And hopefully at the end of the show, we'll activate the phone lines now. So hopefully we'll hear from the coaches once the signal is given. Before then, Coach Bingo, what has he done? What has he done that has really transformed his side?
I think, he has really motivated them.
In what way?
Adding some few quality players to the Nations FC team that qualify to the Premier League. Prince Aqua, rich experience in the Premier League, played for Santo Kotoko in the Diana Stars before. Razak Kasim, experienced player in the team.
Also he was being touted for the Black Stars.
He was in the provisional squad, the 55-man squad.
Really solid defender.
Arguably one of the best centre-halves in the first round.
The fans call him Van Dijk.
Yes. And I understand most of these Kotoko supporters would like to sign Razak Sinsin for next season.
Supporters no major.
They believe once he's in Kumasi, a better performance, you need to move to Asante Kotoko. Black Motors have also kind a greater Accra Vice. They are interested in signing some of these players.
Not be Razy fans.
That is what they are trying to do to make sure some of these players join Asante Kotoko.
Dr. Kwame Che might not want to release him, but he might want to release him for shaggy reasons.
Dr. Kwame Che is a former Asante Kotoko.
But Kotoko will still. Kotoko is in his blood.
He's not a Nations FC supporter. He's a Kotoko supporter.
That's it.
So he can buy a player from Nations FC to Asante Kotoko Football Club. And I think a player like Razak Simpson is one of the players who improve Kotoko in next season or going forward.
We need to credit the CEO and, of course, Divine Boedu, the president, and all those around Nations for such a good job, almost unnoticed, almost quietly, they've done very well as administrators in their first season in the Ghana Premier League?
I think in a short period, Divine has done a great job.
Okay.
And has improved as a football administrator in the locals and now part of the under-20 management committee.
Okay. All right. So let's go straight to our Brankese and let's link to the feed by listening to the coaches first.
You're back home after a rather massive performance against the league leaders the other day. How does that motivate your charges into this afternoon's one?
You know, we went to Summer Boy to beat the league leaders. It's a motivation for the boys. So as we are playing home, you know, we've not lost a game home. And we will not sit down for anybody to come and break that record.
You're coming up against the defending league champions. Is there any pressure on your players to deliver?
Not at all. Medeama is a very good team. They just returned from the Champions League. They are physical, everything fit. And there's no pressure on us. Because it's a normal game that we've been playing. We are also one of the Premier Division teams in the league. So it's a normal game we're going to play.
I get the feeling your approach to this game is going to be a different one from the one in Samarboy, because it's a home game. You want to open up, play a free-flowing football, and then win.
Definitely. A home game is different from away games. And I would say it depends on the opposition. You can't go in for one system and use it. No. As the game progresses, we vary our system. It depends on the performance of the away team. So we're not going to use one system to play the game. It depends on the output of the opponents. That will let us vary our team, our system.
6 wins, 3 draws in 9 home matches. During your days at Bechem United, you insisted that even Real Madrid could not beat your side at home. Is it the same game plan here in Abrankese?
The same thing goes on here. You have to be strong at your home. If you want to make an impact in the league, you have to win your home matches. So when you go to away, pick some wins and draws. It will help you to achieve your target.
A win for Nations today?
Definitely. Inshallah, we're going to take the win.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Coach. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're out of the African Champions League and now concentration is fully shifted on the domestic campaign, which your club are the defending champions. Your first game after exiting Africa. What are your expectations from this game?
First, good afternoon. Good question, and thank you very much. I hope we will adapt very fast on challenges in domestic league. This is our first thing what we try to work in last week. I hope we are ready. Players really respond very well. Okay, we finished competition in Africa, but this is also good experience for us, and I hope also other our opponents in Ghana will feel some positive, and we will try to change events in Ghana football. It is also a very important thing for all of us who are in football in Ghana.
I want to find out from you, has your employers told you to defend the league title?
This is 100% what is our first focus. We are a team who really believe in our possibilities, believe in our power, and we will try everything to defend the title. This is our first step today, and I hope today also we will show it.
I'll go back to Africa again. When you played in Africa, your club considered 9 goals on the road. So practically it means you are poor playing away. What have you done defensively right to this team and the fact that you are playing away from home?
Okay, this is question what we will try to give wider answer on this question in future. I respect you now. This isn't first focus on this question, but I will short tell anything. I'm 100% sure we don't have experience for this competition. This is something what is first and the most important thing. Also, we try to be competitive opponent. Our opponents, some clubs are very strong, and unfortunately we felt their power. But also, I'm not disappointed because we really tried to play football and we showed a lot of positive things.
The home side have not lost a game here. Their worst has been a draw. And they play open football, free-flowing football. They are coming up with 2 attackers in this game. I see you've lined up a 4-3-3 formation. What's your approach?
Yeah, I respect a lot home team. They're really a good team. We also played one friendly match before our match against Al Ahly. They are playing attractive and attack football. I respect this. I also like this. We have also enough power in attack. We are a team who will always think positive and think how to attack, how to score more. This is something what is our first thing. Also normal. One very important thing is think about our goal. This is always something what is present in our job. But I think today will be interesting match.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Right. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex in Abrankese. It's match day 20 of the Ghana Premier League. It's the Giant Killers Nations FC